one other element in this, we wanted, as we do this, the goal is to make this within 5 years, if we could possibly pull that off in that time, a laboratory in sustainability. Not how you think about it, but actually how you think about it and then do it. So 5 years from now, hopefully people would come to this particular site, and it's a carbon neutral place. It has an emerging green post-carbon economy that has solved a lot of economic. We're USA in a microcosm. We have all the financial issues and all the social issues that cities typically have in the United States. But as part of this, we want to start a dialogue and be in dialogue with other what are increasingly being called transition towns, Rob Hopkins' work in Thomas, England. And can we make that post-carbon economy work? And it will be a different economy. It will not be the economy that we've known. We've passed that point. And so this is going to be an economy much more oriented around necessities. But does this have to be a bad world? I don't think so. I don't believe so, unless we simply wait too long. We have changed climate on the planet, but that doesn't mean we're gone. It means we now have to recraft a civilization to fit the conditions that we have created for ourselves. And maybe there'll be a technology come along that will be able to suck carbon out of the atmosphere and so forth, and I hope that can happen. But that's not in the immediate prospect. And so how do we make this work? And for me, the picture is increasingly one of resilient local economies, local food, front porches, town squares, baseball leagues or soccer leagues, better poetry leagues, better friends, more local music. That's hardly back to the caves, gloom and doom. But what we do know about this era is that fossil fuels have to go in all of their forms. And if we don't have the wit and the political courage to eliminate them, their use will eliminate us. The handwriting could not be more clear on that wall. And the chasm between the public dialogue and the scientific reality is just huge. And our job as educators, it seems to me, is to close that gap and create the grounds for not optimism, but for genuine, authentic hope. And that's going to be hope of the millennial sort. Let me close with this. Tom Berry is one of my heroes. Tom is in his early 90s, is failing health, but wrote a book in 1999 called The Great Work. And the great work of any generation is never asked for. It always involves suffering and pain and sacrifice and so forth. And the great work of our time is simply this. If the earth were a patient brought into the emergency room of a hospital, the first thing the hospital emergency crew would have to do is stabilize vital signs. We have got to eliminate carbon emissions. There's not an option. And this isn't a little bit, this is a whole lot, very, very quickly. The second thing, turn that coin over, we've got to make a very rapid transition to renewable power and energy efficiency. Imagine every school in Canada, every school in the United States, every school across the face of this earth where we educate young people is powered by current sunlight, not ancient sunlight. And students learn routinely that's the default setting. Sunlight is what lights classrooms. It's what you get when you flip on a switch. It's locally generated, and they understand the technology of how to do it. Third, we've got to engage, we've got to build a post-carbon economy that works. It's going to be a more honest economy than the economy that has collapsed so badly around us worldwide. It was simply, we were just never as rich as we thought we were or as we were told that we were. Fourth item, we have to get, this really applies more to people in the States, we have got to re-engage the world. We've got to recover the confidence of people around the earth, and we've got to create a global bargain. Without that global bargain, there is no future. China can bring it down, bring us all down. India could bring us down. The United States could. Canada probably could. But this is going to be a bargain that has to apply to all of us. We've got to learn the language of each other's concerns. And then we've got to change the paradigm here. We tried the old Cartesian Baconian paradigm, more or less the motto of which was that if brute force doesn't work, you're not using enough of it. We've tried it, and now we have to try something different. And it's going to be a paradigm that includes the rights of future generations, the rights of other species. It's going to be a more modest, more humble, more disciplined sort of world. We've tried the other, and if politics not as an exercise in partisanship of left versus right, but of us with the interest of that long-term, far-out future, as far out as your moral imagination can extend. That's the politics of trusteeship. Now, the only question for us is, it isn't technical written. We can make these changes. These are mostly off-the-shelf kind of changes. It really isn't economic. All the studies you can find on the economics of sustainability all point to the same thing. It's the only true economy that we have. Stretch out the horizon so we look at the life cycle cost of virtually anything, and you get very quickly to the economics of sustainability. This is a matter of politics, how we conduct a public business. It's a matter of what we know, and that's why it's a matter that is so critically important to those of us who purport to be educators. This is a crisis of mind, and that brings it into your classroom and my classroom. And then the final thing I'd say is this. I don't worry about the solvability in a limited sense of everything I've said, but I do worry about our young people falling into despair, looking at the magnitude, the enormity of the problems. So if they understand the first part of this talk, and lots more, biodiversity, and lots of other things, lots of other big issues on the human agenda, they will despair because you've told them something that raises the energy level, and call that angst. And so our obligation as teachers is to redirect that from something negative and destructive to something that is positive. We've got to give them things to do. We've got to make them partners in the shaping of their future. Thank you.